Hi, everybody. This is day 1365, and there's no sign of life of Richard. And so things are moving very quickly. Matter of fact, I wanted to post something. I'll post it afterwards, but it is about Mario Rascon Ortiz, the chief medical examiner of El Paso, that, at this point, with the information that we have, it looks like he needs to be arrested. He needs to be arrested. So you have the district attorney that needs to be arrested for being a usurper of that office, and now you have the chief medical examiner that is looking pretty bad, along with Veronica Escobar, and also from Joanne Bernal, because, she just resigned. This is huge news. Let me get on and tell you all about. And we have to wrap our heads around all of the evidence that is pouring in right now. Go through it, because our officials there in El Paso, the justice system seems totally broke there. Totally broke. And I think people understand that. And that's why we're now working with Austin, and Washington, D.C. So we're being provided with evidence out of Austin, and getting help in Washington, D.C. to, first, what do you do when the legal system, the justice system in El Paso is broken, and you have problems with visas? You have to understand, we've been working with the Department of State there too, since Richard's case is a binational case, right? It's a binational crime scene. So we just found out so much information, and I have to figure out what I'm at liberty to tell everybody, in the whole extent of it. But I can tell you this, that there are multiple reasons why Mario Raskin Ortiz is an illegitimate chief medical examiner. And, there seems, in my opinion, why would they even appoint, why would Veronica Escobar and Joanne Bernal, who has been warned about the appointment in 2014. So this is absolutely before the Walmart mass shooting, before Richard's murder case, capital murder case. These are capital murder cases. And why in the world would Joanne Bernal and Veronica Escobar, it's like, are they sisters or something? Are they, relatives or something? Are they relatives with Mario Raskin Ortiz? Because I don't know, but they sure act like they are. Like there's something, some kind of tie there between them, right? And do they have a tie with Bill Hicks, or is it with Purchase, the funeral homes? Because we know with the Ortegas, we know with the Rochas, we know with 3905 Bliss Avenue, it is really with what do you call that? Oh, Mortuary Affairs. Thank you. And we were getting bullied by Mortuary Affairs, and some of the people involved in all of this have forensics experience. And now we have a medical examiner, chief medical examiner, that not just was appointed through Veronica Escobar, but also defended him being put in that place was defended and cheerleaded and then defended again. Why? There are standards that need to be upheld when it comes to a medical examiner or judicial office. And, if you were just some person coming off the street and looking into his case and saying, oh, well, okay, he seems to be all right. Whatever, I don't know, there's a little bit of visa problem here, or there seems to be some fudging of the truth and all this stuff in the paperwork. But come on, he had all that schooling and whatever. Maybe you can see how it would be overlooked, and he would get into a position like that. But we're not talking about just somebody coming off the street looking at his credentials. We're talking about Joanne Bernal. We're talking about the county attorney. We're talking about Veronica Escobar, the county judge. Now, of course, the representative. No wonder she's such a lousy representative. She was a lousy judge. Absolutely a lousy judge. No wonder. It's just, and going along with the crimes against humanity, all those COVID mandates, it's like, who are these people that they get into this position because they're a lousy judge, they're a lousy county attorney. And how do I know that? Because I'm just a simple person and I'm getting this evidence and I'm like, what? What is going on? You've got over Austin. I should just call it Austin. You've got Austin writing them saying, look, you're going to have problems with this appointment. You're going to have legal problems with this appointment. This appointment is not a good appointment. Right? And that whole visa thing, it's botched. And he's not an American citizen. And this is a judicial office. And, they were arguing that there is not a sentence in the Texas Constitution that says the El Paso medical examiner, chief medical examiner, must be a U.S. citizen. And what? Are you kidding me? All you have to do is look at the seal of the chief medical examiner to know that it is a judicial position. It falls under the judicial position and therefore requires an American citizenship. I mean, a judge needs to be told this. A county attorney prosecutor needs to be told this. And you can look through the whole country, all the different states, all the different counties, and when you look at the seal of the coroner or the chief medical examiner, what do you see? You see the scales of justice. Of course, you see the medical symbol, you see the scales of justice, because the chief medical examiner is part of the judicial branch of government. And a judge is confused about this. Veronica Escobar has no place being a judge then. And she has no place being a representative of the good people of El Paso then, if she can't figure this out. And the same thing, well, Joanne Bernal, she just resigned, and that's a good thing. After reading the paperwork that we were just given, on Mario Raskin Ortiz's appointment to chief medical examiner. It's so botched. And what does this mean? So I made some notes, and I'm still reacting because we still haven't gone through it again and again, the information that we received. And so what this does say is that Austin is showing us great respect. Team Fine Richard Halliday is getting a lot of respect. And it's because of you coming on, because of your persistence, because of your support, because of not falling for the psyops through these years, the I like to call them the asymmetric warfare tactics, that they have put on us through bullying and, of course, threats and all the behind the scenes, people posing as Richard or other people stealing our identity and then acting like they're us and speaking for us behind the scenes to tamper with supporters, to tamper with witnesses, and all of the tampering with evidence, all of the trying to get a false narrative out there. And we didn't fall for that. We didn't fall for that. And I want to thank you so, so much for staying with us, staying true, knowing that Richard is the real deal. He is the real deal, a whistleblower, Fort Bliss whistleblower, on things going on Fort Bliss that are connected with human trafficking, child sex trafficking, weapons trafficking, the child pornography, distributing this weird pornography. Yeah. So he's the real deal. And he was retaliated severely, continuously for that, even framed by the Kin K-9 cop in a well-lit parking lot for a traffic stop at midnight. Yeah, that can almost be like some kind of rap song. But it's not funny, because these are our officials that are wearing our uniforms, that are in official positions, like usurping the district attorney's office, like taking over the chief medical examiner, which, is way over $400,000 a year. And and it seems from the information we have, he's double dipping into the SEMAFO there in Chihuahua, Mexico, in Juarez, Mexico. So what are the connections with that? And it really worries me with this Bill Hicks thing with the Purchase Funeral Homes, because Purchase Funeral Homes is not an American company. It is out of Juarez, being allowed to be a funeral home in El Paso. And how did that come up? Because he was representing them, and up until he was sworn in falsely, illegitimately, as district attorney. So these are huge developments. And when absorb, because this is moving so fast, everybody. It's moving so fast. And it seems like, but wait a minute, it's almost been 4 years. You're right. But you have to remember, they wanted to put Richard in cold case because the very people that did this to Richard is from CID. Of course, Dallas Hart is the prime suspect in the murder of Richard. But his connections were with the CID. And of course, Richard's case is connected to the Walmart mass shooting case, where we have Glendon Oakley Jr. connecting the Walmart case with the military, with the M4s. And then we received intelligence that brown tip bullets, lots of them, brown tip bullets were at the scene, which is a military special ops bullet. So this connects Richard's whistleblowing, Richard's case, the Walmart case, and all the fraudulent activity that it would have to take in the military, in the DA's office, and at the medical examiner, because the medical examiner has to be up to no good for this Walmart case to be left in pieces. Because he's a judicial officer, he can issue subpoenas and warrants. He can investigate. And so the DA's office can investigate. And so to leave this in pieces, you have to have control over the DA's office. So it's very, this is not just coincidences, right? This is not just coincidences. And the problem is the criminal network is then getting stronger when you have these positions up to no good. And now we have an open letter, and I was reading through it a bit. It's an open letter, really asking President Heather Wilson of UTEP, which is, huge. UTEP, El Paso is an ancient city. And just the high school there in El Paso is remarkable. There's just no room for this kind of fraud in this kind of city that is an ancient city. That's why it's miners. That's why the mascot is miners. The city has so many tunnels. There's an underground there that is widely known. And there is just so much history. So much history yet to be discovered. And so for the president of UTEP to be the likes of Heather Wilson is a huge disservice to El Pasoans. A huge disservice. Because she has no respect. She has no qualifications. Clearly, in this open letter to her, they make a very good argument about that. And so I encourage everyone to read that open letter. I posted it, telling her to skedaddle, telling her to get lost, telling her bye-bye. And now, those are my my words, but they're like, well, we hope you resign. Okay. They're saying it in a much more political, kind way. I'm saying in our experience with her, I just say, skedaddle. You have no respect. You have no honor. Because she's supposed to have been part of our armed services, our Air Force. And she has no esprit de corps. So everything, and I don't know if I totally, and forgive me if I say this, but I'm going to say it. The letter seems, and the whole thing is a little racist. And I understand that they want a Mexican leader. That's really what they're trying to say, a Mexican president. I would suggest um, whoever is best for the job, whoever will be respectful of and qualified and have honor and have esprit de corps and want the best for the education, the higher education of El Pasoans and those coming in. And that means everybody, everybody, and whoever they are, whatever background they are, whoever. It just, let's judge them by their character and their qualifications. That's my stand. So, but absolutely, I shared that letter because of our horrible, horrible, I would even say criminal, her criminal nature. And one of the points, horrible experience with UTEP. Horrible. And you would think that her being prior military, her being UTEP, would want to do everything to help. But no, it was UTEP. Remember, Bob Moore's wife, Kathleen Gannon, works for UTEP. Angela Kachurga works for UTEP. They targeted our son's case. And when we notified Heather Wilson of Bob Moore choosing a unreliable source, a convicted criminal from Dreams Cabaret, and the mother of Richard's platoon leader, Dallas Hart, who is the prime suspect in the murder of Richard, you would think that she would have responded differently. So she's up to no good. And that, to me, because she is seeing, this is not me saying it, it's the article. The article is saying she's a puppet for the Regents. And we have written the Regents also to notify them. And clearly, she has just one focus, or no focus at all. She's just a puppet for the Regents. Clearly, it seems that the open record complaints have validity. The open letter complaints on Heather Wilson have validity. So I did post it, and I think she needs to resign too. Because clearly she's not qualified, and clearly she doesn't have character. So XX, and clearly she doesn't honor our country. Clearly she doesn't. So this leads back to Mario Raskin Ortiz. Because when you are a medical examiner and you have to, normally you have to have some education within the law enforcement, because you are dealing with the Justice Department all the time. And I know my really good friend, her father was a lawyer and a doctor. He could have been a perfect medical examiner. But one thing you do have to have is a loyalty to your country. And there's been this for decades, I think since 9/11. Since 9/11, I think that there has been an active effort to an attack on patriotism, because there was so much patriotism after 9/11. And I have sat at tables with people that were offended with the patriotism. And I'm like, what? And clearly, what we did not see in Richard's unit was esprit de corps and patriotism. And this is a real problem, because if you want to win any kind of conflict, any kind of war, even if it was asymmetric warfare, you must have esprit de corps. You must have a love for your country. You're doomed to fail without it. You're doomed to fail. If you are, right now, our military seems to be an ideology machine, not a defense machine. And we're going to lose. And we do not want to live without our U.S. Constitution. We really don't. Because it gives us so much freedom. It gives us so much rights. And so, we don't have room for people to use our medical examiner position for criminal networks. And it really, really begs to question Veronica Escobar and Joanne Bernal. And there was an attorney Shapley. And I know there's lots of attorney Shapleys. But we're still going through it. All of the information that we received, that were noticed. These people were notified that in 2014 that this appointment could not happen. It was going to bring a lot of legal problems, because every case that Mario Raskin Ortiz has touched remains in, or decided on the cause of death for these capital murder cases, sat in a court and gave a testimony to cause of death and the forensics of the investigation into the crime. Every one of those cases are now botched because he absolutely was not qualified. Absolutely no way. And he is the one that we are told handled Richard's remains. He is the one, clearly, with Purchase Funeral Homes, that handled the remains of the Walmart mass shooting victims. And that case clearly has problems. The prosecutors in the federal court said there are problems with this case. So many problems. Yeah. I hope that the community there in El Paso will demand, and I'm going to try to put it up, but just going through all of this evidence and writing letters and open records in response to everything that we're getting from Austin, and communicating with Washington, D.C. Um, you know, as soon as it's moving so fast, as soon as I get, how can I say this? We need to understand what we have been given, legally understand it. And that's not always so easy. So we have to go through it just like articles and everything. You take the red pen out and you go through it line by line. And we are, which reminds me, we're just about done with the CID report. So we're waiting on one little more part to be finished, and then we can turn in that. That is just, I tell you, like first grade work. And so, and we're still going through the videos of Richard that we received. So, and of course, all the other things that are all the other facets of this case. And now all of this information came in from Austin. So, yeah, I had to take a deep breath. um, so thank you for sticking with us. If you have more information, please contact us. We're getting lots of calls. So if you need to contact us, keep calling or leave a message. Just a lot going on behind the scenes, but we've gotten to this point because of you. Absolutely. Your prayers, your steadfastness. And I just want to say thank you. Team Farm Richard Halliday wants to say thank you because we're kind of upbeat with all that we're getting because we're finally really getting a lot of evidence, hard evidence. And we have lots of hard evidence, right? But now on Richard and on Richard's, what happened to him. And now we're, why? On all of the motives. On all the motives and all the connections. And there's so much nepotism, y'all. So much nepotism. So all the motives that are going on, that's what we're getting. And of course, this is a criminal network. And the cartel are absolutely involved. So, and I'm trying to be as authentic as possible. I'm not being alarming. I'm just telling you this is where all the evidence is leading. And we need extra prayers. And please share, because that is our, that's what they're afraid of, is for this kind of criminality within our Department of Justice, within our agencies, gets out and people learn it. Because there needs to be accountability. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye.